Hello dearies, today I'm going to teach you how to make Grandma's brownies, because they're yummy and you'll enjoy them. What you're going to need for this recipe is a pound of butter, 4 cups of sugar, a dash of cinnamon, a dollop of vanilla, 8 eggs, 3 cups of flour, and an oven set at 350 degrees. First thing you want to do is melt the butter. Put it right in there and let it... The heat doesn't have to be too high. You can let it take its time, let it maintain its dignity as it melts, because it's a polite thing to do and a tasty way to do it. When that huge block of butter is about halfway melted, if you're using a huge block, you can also just use 4 sticks and get the same amount of butter. But when it's about that far down, you're going to take the chocolate chips and dump them in. You don't have to use chocolate chips. What you need is 8 ounces of chocolate. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate chips here. You can also use the Baker's Squares. I wouldn't use the powder just because that's disgusting. Anyway, once you get the chocolate in there with the butter, you just kind of keep mixing it around until basically you get a bowl full of molten chocolate. Sounds deliciously painful. You want to constantly keep the butter and the chocolate moving as it's melting. What I like to do when I'm doing that, I put the spatula directly on top of the huge stick of butter and just keep going around until I feel it scraping the bottom, because that way I know that most, if not all of it, is melted. And then remove the heat. This is what it should look like at this point. Now is when you add the sugar. Take the sugar, dump it in there. And you don't have to do this, I just find it's easier. Just kind of mix it all up. Try and get it all, not completely mixed in, but mostly mixed in before you add the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th cup. Now, here's Grandma's secret. As you're mixing in the 4th cup, you're going to want to put on a dash of cinnamon. Gives it a little something special. So see, do that, and you just mix that in with it. Alright, and that is approximately what your concoction should look like at this point. It's kind of grainy, but still fluid. This is where the eggs come in. You can do them one at a time, but that takes forever. I like to do them 2 at a time, because if you just throw them all in at once, you're not going to get it mixed up properly. There's 1. There's 2. And then you just mix it up. Alright. And when it's about that mixed up, you're going to add a 2nd round of eggs. And this is something you're going to have to trust me on. Really don't want the eggshells to get in there. So, you might have to get a little messy, but dig those fuckers out. Because this will ruin you. You'll be having a big old time eating a delicious brownie, and all of a sudden it's crunchy. And no one wants a crunchy brownie. So, get all them eggshells out. Or better yet, don't get them in there in the first place. This will yield about 24 good-sized brownies. So if you don't want to make this much, you can certainly scale it down. Instead of a pound of butter, a stick of butter. Instead of 4 cups of sugar, a cup of sugar. Instead of 8 eggs, 2 eggs. Math is fun. You should look into it. Don't worry about breaking the yolk as you're breaking the eggs, because it's just going to get all smushed up anyway. From beginning to end, first time will probably take about an hour and 15 minutes, but after you've done it for a while, I can knock this out in about 45 minutes, and that's including prep and cook time. So, it's just a question of getting used to it and doing it and doing it and doing it well. Be aware though that anytime you say, hey, I've made some brownies, you should try them, they're delicious. If you look like me, or you're anywhere near my age, people are going to go, oh, are they special brownies? No, they're not special. Well, they are. But they're also not illegal. Here's where you add the vanilla extract. I guess if you want to get technical, it's 4 teaspoons, but it's a dollop. With the vanilla in, it's time to go for the flour. And same thing with the sugar. If you just mix it in 1 cup at a time, it just makes it a little more easy. And this is the part that takes a while, because flour can be a pain in the ass. Sometimes the flour gets clumpy, and yeah, it's a lot easier if you just sift it all, but I don't. If you do see any clumps after you get it in the pan, you can just take a fork, mix it up like that, and that'll get it good and mixy. It's going to look like this. Nice and gooey and delicious. If you live in the South, this also is a fine substitute for chocolate gravy, which I have never had. Never really want to, but from what I hear, it's delicious and much the consistency of brownie batter. Okay, so you get 2 pans, roughly that size. Spray them down so the brownies don't stick. You just dump it on in there. Get as much out of the bowl as you can. See how there's all that flour there? You want to get that mixed into it. So you just take it, you go like suchly, get it all in there, just smoosh it around. Alright. This one has slightly more in it than this one does, but that's okay. This is the one that's getting pecans in it. Pecans, you say? Yes, pecans. About that many. But see how they're all... See, they're still pretty whole. We gotta chop them down to size. That's a much better size for brownies. So, these are going into these. Woohoo! People seem to like it. And the only reason I do the ones without nuts is because some people don't like nuts. Some people are allergic to nuts. Some people are just don't like the idea of putting nuts in their mouth. So, I try and give everyone an option, because it's the polite thing to do. Now that we've got those all mixed in there, see they're still kind of bumpy there. What we're going to do is put both of these in the oven. Into the oven it goes. Alright. And those are going to stay in there. Think about what they've done. So, it's been about 30 minutes. But how do you know if the brownies are done? Take a toothpick, insert it in the middle, pull it out. If it comes out mostly clean like that, you're good to go. And then, you're going to want to let them cool. Cut them, enjoy them, however many you want. And they're delicious, and they feed your soul as well as your body. Have a good week, dearies. I'll see you later.